Avalanche, or Avax, a very popular project back in the last bull run of 2021. However, as with most altcoin projects, it has had a pretty disastrous 2022 and 2023. 93% down from all-time highs, as you can see there, and that is even on the back of a 20% rally over the last 2 weeks. So in this video, I'm going to be going over some potential price targets, both to the upside and to the downside, and also explain why I think over the next couple of months is a fantastic opportunity to be packing those long-term altcoin bags. So in this video, I'm going to go over AVAX USDT, AVAX BTC chart, as well as the ETH BTC and Bitcoin dominance chart, and briefly explain the relationship between them. I would normally go through the BTC USD, ETH USD, and some of the TradFi charts as well, such as the S&P and the dollar. However, I'm currently recording this video about 12:30. In an hour's time, we've got non-farm payroll data coming out. So by the time this video comes out in the evening, that TA may well be null and void. So I'm going to avoid that this week and just stick to AVAX. And as I said, the ETH BTC and Bitcoin dominance chart. So let's get into it, starting on the higher time frames and working our way down. Let's start on the weekly time frame, and as we can see, we've got a nice little range here, with the range high being at $14.34, range low being at $9.30, and then that brings the mid range in to about $12, as you can see there. So what we've got here, nice little bullish setup, where we broke the weekly range low down at $9.30. It looked like there was nothing but air between here and the next level of about $4.60. However, managed to recover, got a weekly close back above $9.30, so a bullish deviation there. And as you can see, earlier this week, we got a nice little bullish retest and a bounce. So we could be working our way up to that weekly mid-range at around $12. Potential for a lower high there, and then a further breakdown, or of course we could push up and test that weekly range high. But one of the points I want to make out is the fact that, as I said at the beginning, we are 93% down from all-time highs. But if we reverse engineer that and start looking at some potential targets of where things might go, if you start thinking about dollar cost averaging down here, once we break that weekly range high, you then look at the next level, which would be here at call it $22. That makes your new range there, as you can see. So then that brings in the mid-range at about $18, and you can see clear significant level in the past. And then once you break out of that, you start looking at a very, very bullish setup. So whilst it looks pretty bearish down here, you've got to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because if we just take a look at price targets, and let's go from today's price, which, as I say, is already 20% up. Now, I can understand, if you didn't buy anything down here and it's already 20% up over the last 2 weeks, there's a lot of hype. I'm definitely not saying go all in here. I wouldn't say go all in at any price. However, if you just dollar cost average at crucial key levels, and dollar cost average as close to the bottom as possible, you're going to end up with a nice little outlook. But let's just take a look at price from current day up to the top of its current weekly range, and as you can see, that is my price target on. There you go. That is almost a 40% price increase from today up to the weekly range high. If you then go up to the next range high, you're looking at 100%. And then the next levels above that, you've got a nice little level here at about $30. That's 177%. And then if you break past that, then you're looking at these areas here where you've got these wicks at around $64. That's a 500% increase from today's price up to there. Next level, just here under $100, around $9,800. That's an 825% increase. And then up back to all-time highs, if it gets there, is a 1,300% price appreciation, which you just don't get in any other market. So, as I say, I'm not saying this is the bottom, not even guaranteeing that we could get up to all-time highs, but I'm talking about the potential, putting the odds in your favor as an investor. And as you can see, looks like a very, very good risk-reward here, in my personal opinion. If you wanted to be a little bit more, let's say, light-footed or a bit agile with your investments, and looked for a place to cut so you didn't take too much of a downside, you could easily use this weekly range like $9.30 as a bit of a mental stop loss. If we get a weekly close back below that, then you could cut your losses, and as I say, it wouldn't be too big of a loss. I mean, you're talking about maybe 20%. But as I say, very good risk to reward in my opinion. If we were to break down lower and come down to this sort of $4 or $5 area, then again, you're your profits only increase if, of course, we return back to these previous highs. As you can see, it just goes up and up and up. So, as I say, putting the odds in your favour. We can't go down forever, and as I say, around this time, I think over the next couple of months, we could see a changing of the tide. Let's also take a look at the Avax BTC chart. So if we just quickly zoom out on the monthly, as you can see, we've got the all-time lows down here at about 1,000 sats, and then you've got these nice, neat little levels. Now it's a little bit harder to do TA on this, only because it's been in a constant downtrend, as you can see from literally summer of 2022. It's just been a constant downtrend, but you can see these clear levels. So you've got this, what you could argue is a range high up here at about 9,500 sats. You've then got, again, what you could argue is a range low down here at about 3,000 sats, which again brings you a nice little mid-range here, which is about 6,300 sats. And as you can see, this is quite a clear level on the monthly time frame. That also translates down onto the weekly time frame as well. So if you take a look, this what we could call range high up here at 9,500 sats, clear level of resistance and support all the way through Avax's history. Same with this range low support, which we narrowly front run, as you can see, 2 weeks ago, last week, around 3,350. Now we've got a potential bit of headwind above us at 4,000 sats, as you can see on the Avax BTC pair. So potential for things to, let me just turn my magnet tool off, go away. So there's potential for a move that looks something like this up to this weekly resistance, and then trade back down potentially into this nice little weekly range low, which, as I say, very nice area to be buying up Avax in my personal opinion. Again, if we reverse engineer it and take a look at potential profits from this area, up to this weekly mid-range, you've got 112%. Up to the range highs, you've got 222%. And then, as I say, once you start clearing that, you've got one level here at around 12,500 sats with 300%. Then if you go down to the bottom of these wicks here at about 17,500 sats, that's just shy of 500% increase. And then back to all-time highs, 775%, increasing your Bitcoin stash, whatever you put into Avax, by 775%. Again, no guarantees. We may not retrace back down to this level, and we may not hit all-time highs. But again, just putting things into perspective in terms of risk-reward and putting the odds in your favor, and just realizing that we are much closer to the bottom, both in time and price, than we are to the top at all-time highs. So, as I say, potential there. If we take a look now at the Bitcoin dominance and ETH BTC chart, so I'm quite excited by this. If we take a look at this ETH BTC chart, as you can see, we were in a weekly range high at 0.07, weekly range low at 0.062, and then we had this weekly and monthly mid-range. So if we go to the monthly range, as you can see, range high 0.08, range low 0.053. On the weekly, as I say, we broke down from the weekly range low, and we've had this bearish trend line intact for quite a while now. Had a little rally last week where ETH was outperforming BTC. That quickly came to a halt, and as you can see, grinding down now, and I think we're going to eventually end up at 0.053 monthly range low, which I think will be a perfect opportunity to load up on Ethereum and alts against their BTC pairs. If we break this down to the daily, we lost this important daily level at 0.05. You can see not only was it a bounce point here, but I highlighted this quite a while ago on the channel. It was a bottom back here in October 2021 as well, and as you can see, support and resistance back here. So we've broken this level now. Personally, I think there's nothing stopping us getting down to 0.053 from this point. And if we take a look at Bitcoin dominance, if we zoom out to the monthly, we broke this monthly range high here at 48%. We've used it as support, and now we're looking like for another leg up. 52%, if we break that, we could be on course for 57%, which I believe will coincide with ETH BTC dropping down to 0.05. And if we go on to the Bitcoin dominance weekly, again, take this chart with a pinch of salt, but you can see we had these highs here on the, when was this? Just highlight it there. We had that on the 26th of June, there or thereabouts. We then made a lower high back at the beginning of August. We made a low here in end of July, start of August. Then we made a low, and it looked like we were going to start making a lower high here. However, we've blasted past it, and if we can get above 50.75%, then that breaks this intermediate downtrend, and we continue the larger uptrend. So that is what I'm looking for. A continuation of a continuation of Bitcoin dominance, a breakdown of ETH BTC, bringing us down into that 0.05 area. And if we just quickly go back to Avax, that is what could cause this little we could get this little rally into 4,000 sats due to the hype around Avax with the Mars Arena hype which is going on at the moment, hit resistance and then pull back into 3,000 sats, which again, as I think, will line up with ETH BTC hitting its monthly range low and Bitcoin dominance heading up to that 50% area. And as I keep saying, really nice risk reward. If you like Avax, of course, do your own research on the project. Not endorsing Avax in any way, but if you've done your research, you like the project, in terms of price, this looks like a really good area. And as I say, look at that for a risk reward if it returns to all-time highs. No guarantees, but you're looking at almost 700% returns to all-time highs. So if you like this video, drop it a like, drop a comment below, and with your opinions of what you would like to see in the next video. Of course, your opinions on what you think is going to happen with Avax or even the Ethereum, BTC, Bitcoin dominance charts. So yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know what you'd like us to cover. And I look forward to seeing you again next week.